Good morning, class. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most overlooked childhood epidemics facing our kids today.
Coronavirus.
No.
Obesity.
Yeah, but no.
Rickets.
What? No, it's not 1912.
The systematic intellectual suffocation of the American student that extinguishes creativity and individualism for the singular purpose of creating mindless workers crippled with debt.
What?
What?
Today we're going to be talking about birth trauma and birth interventions. And sadly, they're just not some rare exception in moments of crisis. And the ultimate of ironies, the birth process is treated more like a pathology, which is literally the study of death and disease, when it's the complete opposite. Mamas are literally creating new life. Now don't get me wrong, birth interventions are quite often absolutely necessary and can save a life. Thank God for medical experts that can step up and step into these challenging moments and save the day. Today's class isn't even to debate that, to debate whether C-sections and birth interventions are unnecessary. No, today we're going to be talking about the physical and neurological realities of what happens when birth trauma actually does happen. Why is that important, you ask?
No one asked that.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway, so zip it. Did you know there's more brain and neurological development in the first 3 years of a baby's life than the rest of their life combined?
Whew, I'm glad I asked.
And why is that important for babies in the birth process, you ask?
Again, no one asked that.
Well, the medical literature tells us that the average C-section puts upwards of 60 pounds of pulling on a baby's delicate neck and brainstem. The brainstem controls so much of the body. This area that is the brainstem is ground zero for this thing called the fight or flight response. When the nervous system is overwhelmed, especially at the brainstem, a lot of things ramp way up in the body, and a lot of important systems can ramp way down. Think of what the fight or flight response is made for running from a bear. You know, if I'm running from a bear, my muscle tension goes way up. My heart rate surges. My hormones are just coursing through my body. My energy and senses just go through the roof. Now, on the flip side, some things are going to ramp way down. How important is it to digest breakfast if I'm about to be breakfast? How important is it to fight a cold or a virus if I'm about to fight this bear? The immune system can totally tank. A nervous system that's stuck in this stress mode doesn't care if it's caused by a bear or birth trauma. Colic, reflux, constipation are so often digestive symptoms with a neurological cause. Chronic colds, croup, asthma, allergies are related to the immune system, of course. But what if that immune system has been running from a bear since the day it was yanked out of the womb? Colic, constipation, reflux, ear infections, weak immune system, sleepless nights, stress, anxiety. Just because they're more and more common with babies, it doesn't make it normal. There are so many ways to have a baby. Did you boys know that every one of you except Silas was born at home?
Why didn't you want to have a baby in that germ-infested place where sick people congregate?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. It was right for us. When we were pregnant with Oliver and Elijah, we lived in the Netherlands. About 25% of births in the Netherlands are home births. And even hospital births are more natural than here in the United States. The C-section rate here in the United States is upwards of 33%. And just in 1990, it was closer to 6%. Home births weren't weird. They simply made sense for us and our family. Thank God for C-sections. Our little Silas had to come out early out of necessity. A C-section very well could have saved his life. But the reality is that the average C-section puts upwards of 60 pounds of pulling on a baby's delicate head and brainstem. You remember that brainstem? The fight or flight response, the digestive challenges, the sleep challenges, the weak immune systems, the sensory and the stress response. You know, there's no perfect birth plan or perfect birth option for every single family. Every family must choose what is best for themselves and their baby. Parents, mamas especially, need to be reminded that they are in charge. Their desires and opinions are not just fleeting options. Doctors and providers work for them. A mother's instinct and desire should be the fuel to any well thought out birth plan. There are so many options, right options for a birth process. Whenever possible, make sure that transition from womb to this world is as natural and stress-free as possible for mama and for the baby. That's not an opinion or a soapbox statement. Billions of years of evolution have ensured that each phase of development and birth serve a critical purpose. Your body, your baby, Your birth. That should never be seen as a statement of defiance. It's common sense, and it should be common practice. Surround yourself with a team of doctors and specialists that support and celebrate the amazing life and opportunity that is your baby.